Hey, so I really wanted to share with you this story in my life where I wasn't sure that the choice I was making was really going to be the one that would lead me down the path to true happiness, to finding a satisfied life, to finding and surrounding myself with people that made me happy and doing things that brought me joy. And I had gone to culinary arts after I got out of high school, thanks to my mom once again for ushering me along. Because as I told you in the previous video, I'd been sick, a lot in my life, and I'd been through a lot of moments that had really brought me down and made me feel, like less than, like I was somehow not good enough to walk amongst the giants. And I know that today that's not true, but at the time it was difficult to go from being a generally healthy, functional, happy, you know, perfectly good enough kind of guy to somebody who was wondering and questioning and doubting those things. So I graduated high school. I did a little bit of upgrading, but I was still living at home. I wasn't really going places. I wasn't really pushing myself as far as I had before. And I found myself in a job at a new restaurant, Boston Pizza. They were opening it up. It's a chain in Canada.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land.
And it's a restaurant chain that, it's a nice place, but it's not the kind of job that's going to take you to the later stages of your life. But I enjoyed it. It was a good experience, and I have no regret from that. But I think in living in that kind of a lifestyle, it really perpetuated behaviors in me that definitely were not the kind of things that would, make my family proud, make myself proud, especially. So I kept on with this kind of behavior that, was a lot of partying and a lot of dating and things that just wasn't really satisfying. It wasn't giving me any kind of purpose or real reason, to get up and go and to make the best of the day. And obviously I was doing things around the house that wasn't of my parents' liking. I wasn't following their rules. I wasn't living up to the standards that my family had set, which are reasonable. And to this day, I uphold some of the same values in my own home. However, we came to terms with the fact that it was probably time for me to move out. I wasn't super old. I was just young enough to know better, but not so old that making this kind of choice couldn't have, a drastic impact on the rest of my life. So they asked me to move out. I agreed, and I found this hotel in the mountains of Canada in Alberta called the Jasper Park Lodge, and moved out there thinking that I could really advance my culinary career because I do love cooking. It's something I've always enjoyed. It's something I really, really take pride in with my family, at holidays and at home with the kids. And it's something that's always given me a lot of joy. And I decided that, moving out to the Jasper Park Lodge was going to be not just a good thing for me professionally, because of course I wanted to do greater things and to see and to be the best that I could possibly be, but also, personally, to get away from the situation that I was in. And I really thought that I could, find some professional international chefs, people from all around the world that could give me that thing that I was yet to find in my life. And I thought that's what I was going there looking for. That was the plan, so to speak. But does it ever really go according to plan? And anyway, I gave my notice at the Boston Pizza, and it was a lot more dramatic than I thought it would be. I went and I took the slip in to the manager, the paper that I'd written up, the little simple notice, I hereby give 2 weeks, such and such. And he said, I have to give this to the owner, and I need you to kind of just wait a little bit. They're actually in a meeting. And this was at the fairly beginning times of this restaurant. So there was always a lot of staff, corporate people and such around. So we didn't usually pay much heed as a bunch of kitchen heathens. But this was one of those days that I knew, okay, it's kind of a serious tone. So they asked me to come and sit down in the dining room. And I was like, okay, I mean, to me in my mind, I'm like, this is non-negotiable. Like, I'm giving my notice. Like, what do you want to talk about? But I'm an agreeable individual. They weren't doing anything out of line. And I said, okay, sure, I'll sit down and hear what you have to say. And long story short, they basically offered me to be the kitchen manager or some kind of a, some kind of a leader in the kitchen, where I had the culinary arts training, but I wasn't really living up to the, full potential of my ability at the time. And it really threw a wrench into my plan, so to speak, because it really made me think, gosh, this is a good opportunity. And in many cases, I would recommend it to many people to take that opportunity if it was to present itself. But for me at the time, I thought, I have this dream, I have this vision of something bigger, something grander, something more, and I really didn't want to let that slip through. I didn't want to let the chance to go and experience something exciting go. And I left. I went. I took too much junk with me. That was a big regret, moving out for the first time. You don't need anything. Toothbrush, a couple pairs of clean clothes. You know what I mean? Just get there and enjoy it, especially when you're going to be living in a staff accommodation at a hotel, right? It's pretty much work, and fun. And for the first few months, it really was just that. I didn't do anything much more than, spend time with my roommate, a few of the kind of local friends that I met around the hotel. And for that, I just mostly worked and worked. I'd found a few things about living out there that really didn't suit me. It really didn't seem to be in my best interest. And the fact is that the lifestyle that I had tried to get away from had actually elevated in the people around me. And fortunately, I managed to stay out of a lot of the worst stuff. I'm proud of the things that I haven't done in my life, and I have no regret for the things that I have done, and I don't hold against you any of the things that you've ever experienced, because those are the experiences and the moments that make us stronger. They make us unique and interesting, and they make us who we are, right? They build us up into something more. We're definitely the sum of many, many parts, and I don't take any of the experiences or lessons that I've learned for granted. And I try to gain. I try to build upon them. I'm still learning every day. I'm still trying to get it right. But when you're living out in a situation like that, and this chef makes you feel kind of captive, you get a little bit down. You start to think that there's nothing here for me. I don't know why I came here. And the truth of the matter is, in the process of going through the career side of it, the professional experience with the culinary arts, and trying to become a professional chef, I met a girl, while I was there at the hotel, and I don't know how much she wants me to talk about, but I'll just say that we are currently married and we have 4 beautiful children, and I am the most blessed and fortunate and happy man that ever could be. And so much of it comes from this unexpected outcome of a decision that I made, that, I went to the mountains thinking that I would become a more well-rounded and international chef and further my profession and get away from any bad behavior, so to speak. And in reality, I did some of that, but I ended up turning the corner in my life and finding the relationship that gives me the most happiness, the most satisfaction. I was passed over for promotion from this chef, and I was sort of held captive, but the universe seemed to have had bigger plans for me. I had to leave that place. I had to leave that hotel behind, and I wasn't sure if this dear, sweet new girlfriend of mine was going to follow me. And we talked, we made plans, and we now are happily moving into our new home in the very near future, to have space for each of our beautiful children, and for me to continue making videos in a new studio that I'm making there. So the bottom line is, what I didn't know in the beginning was that it was going to end up being the best decision of my life to take this more difficult path. I could have taken the offer at the table. I could have become the kitchen manager of the Boston Pizza, an illustrious position if that is to your situation's liking. But I just had a deeper purpose, I guess, that was in store for me, and I really didn't know what it was all about. So the obvious path was most certainly not the best one. And I assert that perhaps in your day, in your life, some of the choices and the paths that you are faced with may or may not be clear. So don't be afraid to take a step in the direction that you choose, in the path that you wish to follow, and just hope. And I just hope that you'll find yourself in an even greater position than you could have possibly imagined. Please hit the thumbs up, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.